They'll blanket you in Wi-Fi and profit off the radiation. Congregation collecting the people for that Satan. I keeps it blazing, cause I can read between the lines. I ain't blind, we unwind what they're really saying. Genetically modify what you're tasting. Don't need that cottage promise, so now you live up in your mom's basement. Redesign time so your mind is always wasted. Programmed to crave the basics. Keep the beta in stasis. Pay the state, kid. You're in debt for being born. Messengers are more than just the price for being warned. Don't be alarmed. Disconnect from their machinations. Stop subscribing to the folly of own nations. Bone breaking ain't the answer, cause they seek the ownership of souls. Spread the seeds and watch them grow. Break the chains of control. Break the chains of control.
Sweet eternal balance of all that is good, true, and beautiful, friends. Tonight on Rogueways, it is an honor and a pleasure to speak with a man who aims to uplift all of himself and all of the world via his various endeavors, including his show, Blue Collar Mystics, his healing work via the Blueprint to Happiness and Mentalism, and his clearing energetic support via the Sonic Portal. He's a man with a mission and a heart big enough to accomplish that mission. Welcome to Rogueways, James Thomas, and how are you doing tonight, James?
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Lindsay.
Yeah, it's great to have you, and we're going to do our best here. We might have a little bit of a choppy connection, but so far, so good. And before we jump in, I want to say I'm sorry. I had a big oops to everybody out there who tried to get their One Day of Brightness ticket and thought that it was sold out. It is not yet sold out. There's still a handful of tickets left. There was just a mistake on the counting mechanism or whatnot on the site, or I didn't put the right amount of stock in, whatever the problem was. It is fixed now. There are tickets available. So if you went and tried to get a ticket to One Day of Brightness, go back and try again. There should be plenty there for the people who want to attend, and you do want to get yours. We do usually sell out, so I know that's very confusing for people who thought we already sold out. We didn't sold out yet, but we probably will within the next 2 weeks. It is on the 18th. It is not this coming Saturday, but the Saturday after. It is an all-day event. It is virtual. It doesn't matter where in the world you are. It is 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. or so Mountain Time. And so if there's any time during that you can't attend, it's also recorded, and the recording goes out to anybody who got a ticket, and so you can catch any of the parts that you may have missed. You don't want to miss it because we often have giveaways and cool, fun stuff. So if you can be there live, it's even better. And it's always uplifting, always healing, deep spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical healing in conjunction with some amazing psychics, spiritual communicators, teachers, and healers. All of it meant to be practical so you can take it and run with it and uplift your life for the rest of time, not just on this day. Anybody who's been loves to come back. Everybody who goes doesn't want to leave even at the end of the day. It's such a beautiful day. I can't wait to see you all there. So just go to rogueways.org and get your ticket in the shop there. You will see One Day of Brightness, and you will see that they are in fact in stock. So go grab those, and sorry about the mishap. And now, James, the pointless question of the episode is, what do you think is actually one of the keys to eternal youth, if that existed?
Oh, jeez.
Just a little pointless question that's not in any way pointless.
I mean, youth is really in how you view and process your environment, right? So, I mean, having I guess finding a way to be curious about the world is the best way to stay youthful.
I love that.
If you can continue, thank you. If you can continue to stay curious within your environment and be asking, how or why, I think that natural investigation kind of keeps you young, because if you find yourself in the zone, so to speak, whether, a lot of athletes and musicians talk about it, but it's also when you research or when you're investigating or learning about something that means something to you, you get into that space where time doesn't really exist, right? And the more that you can get into that spot, that sweet spot of creating or unfoldment, you can stay a lot younger. I don't know, and I'm sure it's different for a lot of people, but I know some 70-year-olds that are kicking it.
Oh yeah, I know some 70-year-olds who are more youthful than some 7-year-olds. depending on how life's going for everybody. You know, it's interesting. You're talking about that curiosity keeping you young. I feel like it keeps you in motion, which, you know, we're investigating. Not that it's not new to me. I don't know how many people it's actually new to, but we're just going through the Kybalion again on one of my shows, Middle Path, lately. And so we've been talking about the 7 Hermetic principles. And, you know, one of the principles, whether you're in Hermeticism or not, it's just true, is that everything changes. And if you're not changing with it, then you're stagnant, you're unnatural, and that's going to degrade your energy system, right? However you think about it, materialistically or spiritually or otherwise. And if you are curious, that's one way to constantly keep shifting, right? Because you're always investigating and you're always kind of seeing the different perspectives and you're just mirroring the universe back to it. It has to be, you know, not just the key to youth, but maybe more.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I find that, you know, I mean, I was like a natural, you know, I questioned a lot of things as a kid. And, you know, one of the things for me was like, where did the white go in the snow when it melts? You know, and so I'd sit there and melt the snow over and over again to try to figure out what happened to the white. And, you know, and that's, you know, of course, I'm not doing that.
Oh no. We've already got a huge lag disconnection, perhaps. You know, the internet is not so stable over with James, so we'll see if we can make this happen. Everybody think happy thoughts. Think happy, communicative, lube the communication connections. Think those thoughts, and we'll hope. If not, I do actually have a backup episode just ready to go. Something told me to get one ready tonight. And yeah, this is quite a long leg, so it might be necessary. We might have to do there he went. So we might have to do a pre-recorded episode with James and get it out another time and do the backup episode. The backup episode is pretty good, let's say. It's a little bit on the less uplifting side, but you know me, I always tie it back to how we're actually winning and how to keep winning. So what I have ready for you, if this doesn't work out, it's seeming like it's not going to, is a bunch of updates on the Robocalypse. Robogeddon, also known as Robogeddon. The technocracy takeover and whatnot. There's lots going on with that. I really want to do a gun episode because so many people are so deeply ignorant about guns and it's threatening as often to affect other people, their ignorance and their just deep lock with the emotional instead of the rational is threatening to affect all of our rights. So I also want to do that, and if I can't do it soon, I'm going to have an extra bonus episode because it's important. All of the research points to one thing. Oh, here we see. Let's see if James can come back. And that is that having guns keeps us safer. More murders happen without them. Just a fact we see over and over and over and over, and nothing but that fact. So hopefully I get to do that show soon. Let's see if we can hear and see James. No, we got everybody thinking happy thoughts and imagining good things with the James connection. So we'll try one more time. And if not, we'll hear about the technocracy. Change the show title and art and get James back another time when the connection is better. So James, you've entered. Wait, don't hear you. Oh, there you are. We can hear you now.
There I am.
All right, you're back. I have no idea what you were saying. It just froze and it never came back, and then you were gone.
Yeah, I've kind of got startled by the change out, and my computer just shut down.
Oh, well, maybe it'll work better now that it has restarted.
All right.
Well,
see.
Anywho, do you remember what you were trying to say before that happened?
I kind of, I feel like, curiosity is definitely the way to stay youthful. And I don't know if you guys heard me talking about searching for the white in the snow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of look back to that, that moment in my life, and I always think about, try to look at everything as, that white of the snow. Where did it go? And another way to is doing things that you love. Um, if you spend time doing things that you hate or loathe, those things are going to zap the life out of you. And so, spending more time doing the things that you love, you will find yourself living a younger, more exuberant way. Um,
Yeah, I mean, you are, again, in a way we were sort of talking about before, matching the energy that is natural in natural systems, which is, that flow and that love and excitement. That's what the world actually is. When it's not that, it's in a state of degradation again and disconnection and death. So it's an interesting way to think about staying young, is to just mirror the natural state in the universe back at it, by being the same as it. That curiosity you're talking about, I love that question too. It's a question like only a child would ask, and that's what's so genius about it, is why, where does the white in the snow go? Do you feel like that level of curiosity that you had naturally, and that's a natural genius and intelligence actually, do you feel like that set you apart from people? Did you always feel sort of different or weird? Were you like not necessarily part of the mainstream even as a kid, or did that come later? I'm just
oh,
assuming if you're on Rogue
I was,
Ways, you're not part of the mainstream.
yeah, I definitely fought the school system early and felt like there was definitely a lot of misleading and deceit and agenda. And both my parents are kind of anti-establishment, and so they taught me to naturally question, especially authority or anything resembling it, and it also meant questioning them, which to their um, non-delight. But ultimately, I always had a lot of questions, and most of the quote unquote adults didn't really have answers. They had stuff that they had leaned on, and that made me more and more skeptical. And a lot of them had agendas. I knew that they were just there to earn a paycheck to pay their bills like everybody else. So yeah, occasionally there's a good teacher here or there, or that somebody that actually was engaged in their job, but
Very
um,
rarely.
for the most part, I challenged school. Yeah, I didn't know until I started getting into School Sucks podcast and some John Taylor Gatto stuff about how much school really was a trap. And I kind of thought I was a little bit the one that was off, but the more I got older and the more research I did, I realized that now that was just me, my intelligence fighting back against something that is super unnatural.
Very unnatural
And
and very intentionally so.
yeah, absolutely. And they're looking for good factory workers and good soldiers, and I'm not really good at either of those things, I would say. And so I didn't fit into their systems.
Maybe a good rogue warrior, but not a good soldier. The I mean, it's literally designed to produce that, right? And there's a reason why there's a genius test given to children and they score in the genius level. And the further they go into education, the less they score. By the time they graduate, they're in the level of complete opposite, the opposite end of the spectrum, like practically retardation. That is again intentional too, and it also goes to show you that most people are naturally intelligent until it's killed out of them. There's a reason our system wants us not to be geniuses, but you kept your genius intact, which is amazing and beautiful. And yeah, where has that led
Well,
you?
I mean, so um, you- uh, I've never worked or entered the mainstream. I've always created art over the years, and I made a documentary about chemical food additives and nutrition. That kind of led me to the idea of sound and vibration and healing. And after many years of experimentation with the sound vibration field and the things that we were doing during the pandemic, I shifted gears because festivals were no longer happening, and I started doing a lot of writing and a lot of comedic writing, and it turned out that I started making jokes about a lot of childhood trauma, things like that. And the more that I made jokes about them, and the more that I wrote movie scenes and comedy skits about all these things, the more I took the power that they had over me away from it. And I wasn't even trying to do this. It was more like just something that inadvertently happened. And the more that I wrote, the more that I started attracting mentors and other friends that wrote. And that's actually what led me to Owen. And we had a good friend, Richard Grove, and Owen was taking his course, and Rich introduced me to him because he was writing comedy. And sure, it wasn't long before we started reading each other's work and things like that. And that connection to comedy is kind of what brought Owen Hunt and I together for Blue Collar Mystics.
Oh, how cool. And for people who don't know, tell us about Blue Collar Mystics. Richard Grove, by the way, if anybody hasn't previously listened to or watched or consumed any of his various contents, go for it. He's amazing.
Well, Richard Grove is one of the most educated and articulate fellows I've ever had the pleasure to be around. And his ability to research and really get to the bottom of things is uncanny. And I've been really privy to a lot of Richard's projects over the year, Tragedy and Hope, and now he's working on a thing called Autonomy, giving you the skills a school really gave you to be successful. And yeah, I mean, Rich is a hell of a friend and a great ally. And yeah, I'm definitely blessed to have him in my life.
That's beautiful. Yeah, so tell us about Blue Collar Mystics.
So Blue Collar Mystics,
I think we're good.
Okay. Blue Collar Mystics is an expansion upon Owen's project, that he was his coaching program and things like that. And he had a podcast. I think it was called Bootsy Greenwood. And so he created this new brand called Blue Collar Mystics. And right when we started talking about coming together for comedy, I started looking at a lot of the things in his program, and I realized that a lot of the elements within his program were all things that led to my personal healing. And there were a lot of components that were super, super special to me. And the more we're working on this comedy thing back and forth, shooting information, shooting scripts back and forth to each other, the more I realized that Owen was definitely on the path of healing people. And and so the more that we realized that we were in alignment with the same goals, he invited me in to join forces, and that's where the Blueprint to Happiness came about. Is kind of taking all of these elements that we both are very keen on and putting together into a package that that allows somebody to actually put themselves into the driver's seat of their own healing, taking responsibility for it.
Which is really the only way to heal is to take responsibility for your healing. And the only true healers are the ones who enable you to heal yourself. And everyone else is just a bullshit. Maybe they don't even know they're full of shit. That's cool. But really, you should only trust healers who are saying what you're saying and what I also say with you. And I'm glad that you have that outlook and that point of view, because it's the only thing that can truly help people. And thank God there's those who are truly trying to help people.
Mhm. Yeah, ultimately we are the technology and we have the power to heal ourselves. A lot of power has been taken away from us, and and we got into this specialization and experts telling you this or that, and but ultimately you can go talk to a therapist, you can talk to a specialist, you can talk to a clergy member, you can talk to a coach, but in the end, you have to do the work. They're just going to give you a perspective based on the information you give them. So it's your own self-deception that kind of gets in the way, because ultimately there's a filter between what you tell these people and what's going on with you. And so ultimately, I mean, you can either think someone's coming to the rescue, or you can put a little bit of effort into starting to sort these things out. And really it's, stepping into the pain is counterintuitive. And but the pain, real pain that we're feeling is resistance to healing. And that resistance is more painful a lot of times than the things that we're healing from. When I've healed a lot of aspects of myself, I didn't even realize what I was carrying around, and that freedom that I got from a very a bunch of incidents in a row, that I really wasn't out on the healing path. I was just self-loving and creating and being artistic, and these artistic endeavors were taking me into healing activities. Very, I was very unaware at the time. But they culminated into my own arrival and awakening. And I was very delighted to see the Blue Collar Mystics and the program that they were developing, where it was had a lot of these elements in the program.
Yeah, it's really interesting. A lot of people who are on the healing path don't think they're on the healing path. And like you said, all these people who are degreed and doctored and certificated, they might be amazing and they might be just as amazing as any other healer. But again, they're still going to do exactly what, you and I are saying, is help you heal yourself. And in the end, if you're not ready to heal yourself, nobody's going to help you heal yourself. You have to do that. It's just like they say in that 12-step program, which is otherwise not very, I shouldn't say that is very valuable, but has a lot of shortcomings, is that you have to want to. And it's not even about wanting to either. It's about being able to be honest enough to do it. It's about being able to take responsibility for yourself despite anything that's ever happened to you, and not be a victim anymore. There's so much that goes into that. So when you say, like, I didn't even mean to be, or I wasn't really on the healing path, but you were actually. And I think that's so powerful for people to hear and understand, because really everybody is. They're just either on the stage that's descending into further disconnection, less self responsibility, more victimization, and more denial, or they're in the stages that are heading towards more connection, more internal presence, more self responsibility. And more connection. That direction, which direction are you going, right? We could go back again to the Hermetic principles and say it's all on that strip somewhere, and the pendulum swing. There's always this duality and everything in between. Where are you on it? But I love that you were just kind of like pushed into it on accident, or fell into it on accident, and had these realizations. Sometimes that's the most powerful.
Well, so the sonic portal itself, when it really gets down to it, there's a lot of hermetic principles involved into that operation. And in the beginning, I just channeled a bunch of really awesome concepts at the universal laws, and my intuition and soul kind of took my ego hostage and said, "Hey, we're gonna do this thing now." Um, but a lot of the time, I people would want to give me credit for this thing that happened to them in there, and it got to a point where in the beginning we thought, yeah, we're healers. And then after, a bunch of experiences, we started to realize that, like, we're more creating a situation, people are healing themselves. And that, taking that role and taking that, position as being ship pilots and where where wherever you go, I don't know where you're going, but I know to get you there, kind of um, kooky and silly and wonky. The metaphor is very real, and if people surrender down and quiet their mind, their heart will bring them to the things that they need. And it took us a long time to get to the deep, get to the finer workings of it, but eventually, um, you know, we've we got used to a point where miracles happen around us on a daily basis. And I would leave, you know, a very green crew to come back to hear about all the miracles that happened, and so we get a very repeatable process, and it became something you know, of fun, because ultimately I never created a temple, and I never made any claims to heal anybody, and we never tried to convince them that they need to meditate or to do any of these things. We just hop in our spaceship, see where it takes you, taking that very benign role and not giving you any handles to pull, and giving you a clean slate. And it's me not telling you how I think you should feel about this experience, and taking your clean slate, and you hop in this thing, and you go where you think you're going to go. And if you're Buddhist, or you're into meditation, sure, you could probably get there a little faster than others. But a lot of people, that they report actual travel and going to places, and that's all them. That has nothing to do with me. And and so the more that we created this spaceship metaphor, the more we disarmed anybody's idea that A, anything was happening, and B, something could happen, and and allowed their imagination to take take hold of a unique and genuine raw experience.
So many components there that are so vital too, and I love seeing this, how this ripples and echoes throughout every different type of modality and approach, and there's things that are the same every time, and that ability to step out of the way, like you said, and not pretend like you're the one doing this is, I think, crucial, which we've referenced a few times in this show already. And another piece that is crucial is understanding that this medicine, whatever you want to call it, the energy, the experience, the whatever, right? I'll call it medicine for now. That is naturally existing in the universe. It's naturally a thing that we have access to, period. Technically, no one needs a spaceship. Technically, no one needs me to do my ceremony or
Yeah.
whatever I do, right? Technically, none of us need any of that. But here's one more opportunity for us to access it, because we allow ourselves to believe in it, step into it. And you had another keyword there: imagine. Use our imagination to really engage with it and
Mm.
accept it. I feel this every single time when I'm connecting with somebody. If they're really ready, again, like we said, they're really ready and they really choose to, this healing is going to be amazing for them. If they're coming in like cautious, trepidatious, not really trusting, like kind of dubious, whatever, it'll happen. It won't be as good. It won't be as deep. And it's the same, I think,
Mm.
stepping into your sonic portal, right? If they're like, cool, this is going to do something, I'm going to get in there and see what it is, they're going to have a way, way more powerful experience than someone who's like, what is this bullshit? Right? Like, I don't even trust
Well, that's the
this shit.
thing
What
is
is this? But they'll still get something, and it
you know,
might be exactly what they needed for their own level of skepticism, dubiousness, anger, resistance, or whatever, which is perfect.
well, there's a lot of apprehension all the time, because first, most people have never
No one's
seen
seen it.
any of
Yeah.
anything like it, and so there's a certain level of apprehension, and then we got some people dressed up like aliens out front. Hey, come ride in our spaceship, and then they get up there, and they have, like, they know that they think it is not a spaceship, and they know that they think that I know that it's not a spaceship. And so at this point, they're so disarmed from anything that's really happening that they're already getting into my jokes, and I'm already hitting them with things that seem silly and funny, and so by the time we get in and get started, after it all starts, that's when the metaphor becomes real. And and so that's the magic and the beauty of the entire thing, is I'm not trying to be your guru or your spiritual middleman or any of that. I'm offering you the ability to turn your mind off for a minute. And what happens when you turn your mind off? Well, you look inside, you're going to find out who you really are and what the universe is really about. And again, has nothing to do with me. You're the one that has to have that experience, that internal, conflict or contrast. And I'm just opening a gate for you to do that. And so, again, I could try to take responsibility, and a lot of people put it off on me, but for me, it's just a lot more fun. It's it's kind of like getting off on getting people off, giving them the ability to tune at all this noise out. And you can't do that at home, you can't do that at work, you can't do that in your hobbies or in the movies. So it's like, it's just one little crossroads of your life where you wander into this thing that's comically dressed up. And then because of that, that's where the magic really comes in, is us not making any claims, and just nurturing the possibility of that magic. Because ultimately, imagination is your magic, and your emotion is the power behind that magic, and your focus is where that magic happens. And when you turn that all internal and into yourself, a lot of really amazing things could happen. And a lot of you can create a lot of amazing things in the world. But when you start using your own power for the best, yourself, and you can unlock a lot of things. And a lot of people come out of there and they know what they want to do for art, or they know what they want to do for a career, or they know what they know things now that they didn't know before. And I didn't give that to them, they unlocked it within themselves.
In fact, you wouldn't be able to give it to them. Anyone claimed to be able to would be a liar. It is interesting, I also don't make any claims with anything that I offer people, but I give examples like you're doing, right? Like, here's the types of things that happen for people and with people. And, different from you, but similar, like, step in and let's find out, like, and this is really you empowering yourself. And I think that's probably one of the most beautiful things, aside from the healing itself, aside from the knowledge itself, aside from the new understandings themselves, is people moving forward from experiences like this carry this with them forever now. This empowerment and this understanding of, like, the connection that they already have, whether they put that into words or not, like, it's in there now, right? It's lodged somewhere inside. Like, you've had this experience. Much harder to doubt an experience than it is to doubt words you read or things you saw or whatever other ideas might be floating around. Like, now it's internalized. And I love that ongoing empowerment as well.
And your experience.
Uh-oh.
You got me?
I think you're back.
There. All right. Your experience doesn't lie to you, and that's the sort of the difference between spiritualism and religion. Is religion is living through someone else's experience, and spiritualism is living through your. And it's like, once you start to realize, have all the same power and energy and ability inside of you that all the great people of history have. You are, just as you were created, you incarnated to do something. You're here, and our status quo has shut down a lot of our ability. That it goes back to that curiosity, and that curiosity is creations and leads to things happening. But if you believe the world is the way that they is, and you don't create, then you consume. Right, and that's where things starts, where people start to bring them into a thing called depression. You're not creating anymore. You're not here to do. You're doing somebody else's stuff.
Yeah, I like that. I like that differentiation between spiritualism and religion as being, within or without. Very, very cool. It's hard, you're a little bit choppy, but I think we got like the gist of basically what you're saying. But I don't know how much better or worse it might get. But I do want to at least get a couple more, ideas out and connections made here before we say goodnight. But I wanted to hear too, if you have any other projects in addition that the Sonic Portal has maybe brought about, or working with the Blueprint to Happiness and Mentalism, or, if that's leading anywhere else.
Well, and ultimately, for a while, we were doing, like T-shirts and pins and like that. But that's kind of like we were a rock star in it. We were like we thought we were more of a band, and we were having fun with it. And then the pandemic happened. I tasted my own medicine, and I realized what I have actually been developing. And I really got a good taste of my medicine. And for years, people have been walking out of there telling me how their lives have changed, or that this, that, or the. Maybe come out, and I'd be like, "How do I get that?" And then it to me, and once it did, I realized what the work I've been doing. I've been putting the wrong parameters of success on the project, and I really didn't realize what level that I've been doing the right thing for the wrong reasons. And so the spaceship brand was was a way to differentiate mainstream crowd, whereas I wasn't really trying to, like, at the time, do a yoga studio as retreats or anything like that. And yeah, since that I had in there, it's been the focus of, all right, how do we bring people to that extra level thing. Like my level of healing in there is, it's probably, so a lot of people have amazing levels of childhood trauma clearance, and like lots of baggage, or finding the answers and things like that, and those happen, 3 to 5%. We probably have a few thousand people go through a weekend, but we'd never nurture that. It was just more like, they tell us, "Hey, you brought me to God," and I know this now. I'd be like, I'd high five them and send them out into the civil world, and there'd be no integration. And so, now we're focused more on, getting everybody's contact and helping integrate them to other parts and modalities to help them clear this stuff for themselves. Because ultimately, I myself, without any denomination, any religion, without any therapist, I just was loving the world, loving the community, being curious, and creating, and it led me to the deep level of, and it's like helping people find what their purpose is. I've always been doing, aware of it, and that's a lot of what the Blueprint to Happiness and is sharing this, and helping people find what it is that they're supposed to, because once it's just a very and to live life each filled with purpose.
It's very, very choppy now, and I think
Did we get that?
I think we got the gist again, but it's just really, really hard. So I'm just going to ask you to share with people where they can find more, and how they maybe can connect with you to hear more about the Blueprint to Happiness and Mentalism and the Sonic Portal, which we got the gist of. But I'm sure people will want to hear a less choppy, or read or see or whatever they can about it. So let them know where they can do that.
And
if we
And
can even get it.
there's a little menu button shortly. A few.
Well, I don't know if we're going to hear anything else
It's a.
from James. It's very rare that any sound's coming through James, so I'm just going to actually share with people what I know and the rest of it, and then we'll just say goodnight. Sorry that the reception or whatever is so bad and choppy, but we got some stuff and some good ideas out before it went too poorly. So everybody know that you can click below you. It's bluecollarmystics.com. I'm going to say you can read it right below me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's it. And there's lots of stuff there on the site that you can read and see more about. The Sonic Portal, the Blueprint to Happiness and Mentalism, and more. I wish we could get James's final words of wisdom or thoughts before we say goodnight, but I don't think they're going to come through clearly. So maybe he'll be willing to type those in the chat or share them some other way. And otherwise, fellow travelers of the path, it is a beautiful thing. And this has been your analog, electric, concentric dose of wisdom, according to the blue collar mystic, James Thomas. And James, thank you so much for sharing with us tonight. If you can hear me. And internal is the only way. Internal is the only space. Here and now is the only time and dimension. The rest are reflections of these, like the dewdrops on Indra's web, infinitely reflecting that one single solitary spot. It is and always has been right here within, all along. There's a reason why everything in the universe tries to constantly remind you of your centrality and universality. So listen. And until you do, travel well, aim for balance, and always look inside first. Mwah.
Yo, yo, you're lying, he's lying, and she's lying. My man over there, he's lying. You know what? You're building up a bunch of lies. Straight lies. You don't know Willie Brown. I don't believe you. You're gonna build a wall. I don't believe you. You smash corn pop. I don't believe you. You don't touch kids. I don't believe you. Tupac's your favorite rapper. I don't believe you. You're helping immigrants. I don't believe you. Unemployment's low. I don't believe you. You're gonna fix the climate. I don't believe you. You carry hot sauce. I don't believe you. You pulling troops out. I don't believe you. America is great again. I don't believe you. You don't take cash from China. I don't believe you. You pay taxes. I don't believe you. You care about us. I don't believe you. There's a virus. I don't believe you. You need to wear a mask. I don't believe you. Here's a stimulus. I don't believe you. You're gonna impeach someone. I don't believe you. Heads are gonna roll now. I don't believe you. We're gonna flatten curves. I don't believe you. You're helping black people. I don't believe you. Voting matters. I don't believe you. You never took that flight. I don't believe you. We're all in this together. I don't believe you. You don't have dementia. I don't believe you. You make the best deals. I don't believe you. You're gonna solve the problem. I don't believe you. You're gonna drain the swamp. I don't believe you. We're training space soldiers. I don't believe you. You're friends with Mexicans. I don't believe you. You're different this time. I don't believe you. We're fixing infrastructure. I don't believe you. You'll get free college. I don't believe you. Your hands are huge. I don't believe you. Erasing student debt. I don't believe you. You're not establishment. I don't believe you. You don't have Kuru. I don't believe you. You have nice friends. I don't believe you. You won't bomb anyone. I don't believe you. We don't spy on people. I don't believe you. There's a tax credit. I don't believe you. You're a Christian. I don't believe you. You'll fix the deficit. I don't believe you. The other side's the problem. I don't believe you. You got transparency. I don't believe you. You're not a puppet. I don't believe you. You don't know a Rothschild. I don't believe you. Safe and effective. I don't believe you. I'll circle back to that. I don't believe you. It's a pandemic. I don't believe you. We care about your health. I don't believe you. They're killing grandmas. I don't believe you. Birthing person. I don't believe you. We'll investigate. I don't believe you. You don't know that guy. I don't believe you. You trust the science. I don't believe you. You want us all in shackles. We're training space soldiers. You're friends with Mexicans. God damn it.